Hi, this is Jeff Spencer, Math 120 instructor for the Community College of Denver, and this is the video lecture over the Week 4 discussion set answers. So a lot of these problems at the beginning are from 8.1, and for percentage problems, when we're finding results from percentages and we're given a percent, you actually are given a percent, then I generally use this format. You would see that in my lecture video, where I take the percent, but you have to convert it to a decimal, times a number gives you the result. So usually I use this format when I'm given a percent, so I convert the percent to a decimal, and then I just have to decide if the number that I'm given is the number that the percent applies to, okay, um, or if that's the result number. Now, when we say 17% of something, percent of means to take that percent of as a decimal and multiply. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's why we had the multiplication here. So 17% of students have math anxiety. There are 12,000 students on campus. How many students on campus have math anxiety? Well, it's 17% of students have math anxiety, so that would be 17% of the 12,000 students. So since it's 17,000 of the 12, or 17% of the 12,000, we do 17.17 times 12,000, and that will give me the result, which is the number of students that have math anxiety. So we're looking at 0.17 times 12,000, 2,040. So I'd say 2,040 students have math anxiety. Okay, next. It says you purchase an item for $99.99. New Mexico sales tax rate is 6.7%. What is the tax on a purchase of $99.99? Oh, I kind of wrote this twice, but either way. So tax is a percent of the sales, the sales price. So we're going to do 0.067. That's how I convert 6.7% to a decimal, times the $99.99, and that will give me the tax. 0.067 times 99.99, rounded to the nearest cent, 670. So the tax is 670, and it says what is the total price? Well, tax is just added on to the total price, so we do the 670 plus the 99.99, and that gives us $106.69. That would be the total price. Okay, next it says suppose 23% of all students are on financial aid, which comes out to 1,245 students on financial aid. How many total students are there? So this one, we're actually given the result number. So it's 23% of all students, which is the total, and we don't know that. So we're going to do 0.23 times the total number of students, which I'll just call X, equals the result of 1,245 students on financial aid. So when I have this set up and I don't know what the number is, but I know what the result is, to solve this, I have to divide by 0.23. So X is actually going to equal 1,245 divided by 0.23. 1,245 divided by 0.23. And since this is the number of people, I'm going to round this to the nearest whole number and get 5413. 5413 students total. So that should make sense because about 23% are on financial aid, which is 1,245 of a total of 5,413 students. So that's our answer. Said a pair of jeans had a price tag of $40, but there's a sale, 30% off. What is the sale price? So we're going to take 30% of the price, which is $40, and get $12. That's the discount. So get the actual sale price. We're gonna have to do $40 minus the 12. That's the discount. It should give you a $28 sale price. So $28 is the final answer there. Next one, it says 56 people agree that parking is too expensive, which is 78% of the total number surveyed. How many people were surveyed? Well, this is 78 of the total, but we don't know the total. So it's 0.78 of the total gives us the result of 56 people agreeing that parking is too expensive. So same as the number 3. When you don't know the number and you know the result, you have the situation like this. You got to divide the 56 by 0.78. 56 divided by 0.78 gives us 6 divided by 0.78. And remember, we're rounding to the nearest person here because this is the number of people, so I'm going to say 72 people were surveyed total. That's the answer. Okay, it says you ate out and your meal was $8.95. You left $11. What percent tip was that? Okay, let me write the formula that I use for these types of problems. Okay, so when we're actually finding the percentage, all these previous problems 1 through 5, you were given the percentage. Okay, these are still from 8.1. When you want to find the percentage, we take the new value minus the old value, get that subtraction, get that difference, and then divide by the old value. And once I do that, I multiply that result by 100 to convert it to a percent. So this percent change, it's just a change from 11, your bill was $8.95 and it changed to 11 because you tipped. So we're going to take the 11 minus the $8.95 and we're going to divide that by $8.95. That's what the original, what the original bill was. The bill was $8.95 and then you added on a tip. So 11 minus $8.95 is the $2.05. That is the tip value, and we're going to divide that, see what portion that is of $8.95. We're going to take that result times 100. So if I do that, 205 divided by 8.95 times 100, and I'm going to round this to the nearest tenth because that's what the instructions say. So 22.9% tip. 22.9% tip. Alright, it says your bill for your computer without tax was $4.95. With tax it came to $5.34. What was the tax rate as a percent? So this is the same thing. The new amount that you have to pay thanks to tax is $5.34. So we're going to take that and subtract off the $4.95 and divide by the $4.95. That was the original price. We're going to take that result times 100. So that $5.34 would be $39 tax divided by $4.35. We'll take that result times 100 to convert to a percent. So 39 divided by $4.35 times 100. Okay, so it's 8.96. So the nearest tenth, it's going to be 9.0% tax. All right, next. It says a 36-inch Toshiba sells for $6.45 and the Panasonic sells for $4.95. It says compare the Panasonic to the Toshiba. So this is a little different because we don't really have a new and an old value. But whenever we compare something to something else, whenever you're comparing, like in this case, the Panasonic to the Toshiba, whatever you compare to is the old value, the original value. Okay, so this one means that since we're comparing the Panasonic is the $4.95 to the Toshiba, which is $6.45. So what I'm comparing to is what I subtract. It's the old value, and that's what I divide by. So I divide this by $6.45. Because the Panasonic is cheaper, this is going to come out to be negative. So $4.95 minus $6.45, $4.95 minus $6.45, $150 cheaper, negative 150, divided by $6.45. Take that result times 100. So 150, negative 150, divided by $6.45 times 100. Okay, and to the nearest tenth, 23.3. So you can either leave the negative. I'm just going to give the context. It's a better way of writing this. 23.3% less because the Panasonic is cheaper than the Toshiba. All right, it says now, so that's really the end of 8.1 problems. The next ones are, 8.4 and 8.5. I actually took off all the simple interest problems from this set, so there's really nothing from 8.3. So it says find the future value and interest of $8,000 at 3.5% compounded monthly for 10 years. Okay, so for these problems, I'm going to refer to my financial formula sheet, and just so you know, that's linked on the news feed right there. You can click that and you can use this formula sheet for the exam. So this problem says find the future value and interest of $8,000 at $3.5% compounded monthly. So since it's compounding interest, I want to look at the compound interest. I want to use formula 4 here. This formula, A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the N times T, is for finding a future value, A. It's what you're aiming for in the future. And P is what you start with, that's the 8,000. So I'm using this formula to figure out this future value of this $8,000 that I'm investing. So we want to find the future value equals 8,000 times 1 plus the rate, which is 0.035, divided by, it says compounded monthly, so N is 12. Okay, so remember here I'm using N equal the number of compoundings. The rate is the percent is a decimal, so N's 12. Okay, and then I'm taking that to the power of, let's see here, 10 years times N, so 10 times 12. A lot of times what I do is I do the N times Y, the little exponent part, the N or the N times T. Sometimes I use Y in other books, but N times T. You have to either put a parenthesis for the exponent or do the math off to the side. So usually what I do is I do that off to the side. So 10 times 12 is 120. So basically I'm going to type this in all in one line, and I'm going to show you that on the screen here. Okay, so I'm going to type this in. I got 8,000 times 1 plus 0.035 divided by 12 to the 120. Okay, I already know what 10 times 12 is, so I just plug that in. Or you can put a parenthesis for the exponent and do 10 times 12. So that gives me 11,346, and I got to round to the nearest cent, and 76 cents. So 11,346 and 76 cents is what it will grow to. So that's the future value. Now it says find the future value in interest. So if that's the future value, the interest is the difference between the 8,000 and the 11,346, because that's what it grew to. So 11,346 and 76 cents minus the 8,000 gives us 3,346 and 76 cents interest. Okay, so make sure to do both parts of these problems. Number 10 says find the future value and interest of 9,000 at 8.75% compounded monthly for 10 years. So this is going to be the same formula. Future value is 9,000 times 1 plus 0.0875, 3/4 is 75. If you're confused on how to do those percentages or when we have fractions in a percent, this is the way I would do it. Say, okay, I have 3/4, right? 3/4 as a decimal is that. So, but it was 8 3/4, so I'm going to add the 8, and that is now, it's 8.75%. And to convert that to a decimal, you divide by 100, 0.0875, so that's how I get that. And then I divide that, since it's monthly again, divide by 12 to the 12 times 10 again for 10 years. And so that's 120. So then I'll type this in. So 9,000 times 1 plus 0.0875 divided by 12 to the 120th power gives us a future value of 21,521. 521, and how many cents here? And 45 cents. Okay, 45 cents. So then the interest is just the difference. So 21,521 and 45 cents minus 9,000 equals, let's see here, 11,000. Wait, what am I doing here? 21,521, 45 cents minus 9,000. 12,000. I don't know why I was messing that up. 521 and 45 cents. Interest. Sorry, I forgot to label that. That's the interest. Okay. So next one, it says find the future value and interest of 10,000 at 5 3/8% compounded continuously for 10 years. So this compounded continuously means that we're using a different formula. Continuous compounding has its own formula right here. Okay. The P still stands for the future value, but E is actually a number. It's like 2.71. So you just type that into your calculator and then you take it to the power of the rate times time. So if you look at this one, so we have future value is what we're aiming for. We're investing $10,000 and we're going to take that times E to the 0.05375, I think. Let me do it. So 3 divided by 8, yeah, 375 plus 5 divided by 100, 0.05375. So 375 times the number of years, which is 10. Okay, so plugging this in, we get a future value. I want to show this on top of this. Okay, so 10,000 times. All right, to get the E button, you do on all these calculators, you do second and then your LN button, and then to the 0.05375 times 10. Give you the future value of 17,117. 17,117. How many cents here? 22 cents. Okay, so the interest is the difference. So it'd just be the 17,000 minus that. So 10,000. So it's just 7,117 and 22 cents interest. Okay. I'm gonna stop this video because it's getting a little long. It's going to take forever to upload, and I'm going to do this in 2 parts. Okay, so this is part 1, and I'll do the rest of the problems in part 2.